November 8th, a date that has witnessed America making fateful choices that would cost thousands of lives, destabilize global security, and shake democracy itself. It's a day when military escalation led to quagmire, when intelligence was weaponized for war, and when foreign interference reached the highest office. What's the common thread? A failure to weigh the long-term consequences of today's decisions. This is the story of America's greatest mistakes on November 8th. Some decisions seem right in the moment but unravel over years. Others are clearly flawed from the start but are pushed through by ideology or ambition. The most costly mistakes are often those made with the best intentions or the worst motives. On this November 8th, we're examining three critical errors: a military escalation based on false optimism, a case for war built on flawed intelligence, and an election that invited foreign interference. Let's begin with the battle that locked America into Vietnam. Mistake number 1. The Battle of Ia Drang locking into Vietnam, 1965. It's 1965. America is slowly escalating its involvement in Vietnam, but still looking for an exit strategy. That all changes in the Ia Drang Valley. The context: the U.S. was testing new air assault tactics and seeking to engage North Vietnamese forces. Military leaders were optimistic about using technology and firepower to win a quick victory. The November 8th escalation. On November 8, 1965, the Battle of Ia Drang began, the first major confrontation between U.S. and North Vietnamese regular forces. It was the bloodiest battle of the war to that point. The mistake: both sides drew the wrong lesson. The U.S. saw it as a victory that proved their new tactics could work, while North Vietnam saw that they could withstand American firepower. This mutual miscalculation locked both sides into a prolonged war of attrition. The consequence: the battle convinced American officials they could win through attrition, leading to massive troop increases. Instead of being a warning, it became a blueprint for a failed strategy that would cost 58,000 American lives. It demonstrated how initial tactical successes can lead to strategic disaster when they reinforce flawed assumptions. The lesson: winning battles doesn't always mean winning wars. Sometimes tactical victories can lock you into strategic defeats. Mistake number 2. The 2002 Iraq War resolution: march to war, 2002. From one intelligence failure in Vietnam to another, decades later, when America would make many of the same mistakes on the road to Iraq. The context: following 9/11, the Bush administration was building a case for invading Iraq, claiming Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and ties to al-Qaeda. The November 8th decision. On November 8, 2002, the UN Security Council unanimously passed Resolution 1441, which offered Iraq a final opportunity to comply with weapons inspections. The mistake: the resolution was based on flawed and politicized intelligence about WMDs. It created a diplomatic framework that the Bush administration would use to justify invasion months later, despite the absence of any imminent threat from Iraq. The consequence: the Iraq War cost nearly 4,500 American lives, hundreds of thousands of Iraqi lives, and trillions of dollars. It destabilized the Middle East and led to the rise of ISIS. It severely damaged America's credibility and demonstrated how intelligence could be manipulated to justify predetermined policy decisions. Lesson: when intelligence becomes a tool to justify policy rather than inform it, the results can be catastrophic. Conclusion: so what connects a Vietnamese valley, a UN resolution, and a presidential election? They all represent moments when America failed to see the bigger picture. In each case, short-term thinking, whether military victory, diplomatic pressure, or political win, overrode long-term consequences. The lessons of Ia Drang were ignored in Iraq, and the warnings about foreign interference were dismissed in 2016. November 8th teaches us that the most dangerous mistakes aren't just wrong decisions, but systemic failures to learn from history. When we stop questioning our assumptions, we're destined to repeat our errors. Which of these failures to learn from history do you find most troubling? Let me know in the comments. If you believe we must break this cycle, please like and subscribe for more daily history. Thanks for watching.